Well, it is that time of year again. That's right. The Anti-Semite of the Year contest is back. And leading the group this year is none other than Tucker Carlson, of course. Joining him on the list is Miss Rachel. She does a little program for toddlers. Very cute. Guy Christensen is also on the list. Marcia Cross, Bryce Mitchell, Cynthia Nixon, Cenk Uygur, Anna Kasparian, Stu Peters, and Clownish are all on the list as this year's Anti-Semite of the Year. If you remember, last year's Anti-Semite of the Year was Candace Owens. In fact, this is the website to stopantisemitism.org. And last year, they wished Candace Owens Mazel Tov. She was the Anti-Semite of the Year of 2024. The year prior to that, it was Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. She was the 2023 Anti-Semite of the Year. Kanye West took the top prize in 2022. So why is it that these names have made the list for Anti-Semite of the Year, which, by the way, is now kind of an honor? I mean, people are now looking at this as a joke. They're not, the word anti-Semitism is not affecting people anymore. But let's go ahead and play some clips. Why are these particular people, some of these particular people, being labeled anti-Semites? Here's what Tucker Carlson said. That one of the things Tucker Carlson said that likely got him on the list.
Ultimately, he was a Christian evangelist. And it actually reminds me of my favorite story ever. So it's about 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem, and Jesus shows up and he starts talking about the people in power, and he starts doing the worst thing that you can do, which is telling the truth about people, and they hate it, and they just go bonkers. They hate it. And they become obsessed with making him stop. This guy's got to stop talking. We've got to shut this guy up. And I can just sort of picture the scene in a lamplit room with a bunch of guys sitting around eating hummus, thinking about what do we do about this guy telling the truth about us? We must make him stop talking. And there's always one guy with the bright idea, and I can just hear him say, I've got an idea, why don't we just kill him? That'll shut him up. That'll fix the problem. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Everything is inverted.
Okay. So him telling the story of Jesus being crucified by the Jews, that at Charlie Kirk's, what is this? It wasn't his funeral. It was his kind of a remembering Charlie Kirk, like I don't know what it was called. But at that convention thing, and he tells this story, and that certainly got him on the list. He was already being targeted, but this really put him on the list even more. Now let's look at Miss Rachel. Miss Rachel does a show for toddlers, and this is what is getting her in trouble.
Let's go back to sleep, Rahaf. We're so tired. See the bunny sleeping till it's nearly noon. Shall we wake them with a merry tune? They're so still, are they ill? Wake up soon. Let's pretend to sleep. Wake up, little bunnies! Skip, little bunny, skip, skip, skip. Skip, little bunny, skip, skip, skip. Skip, little bunny, skip, skip, skip. Skip, 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 and stop. Let's hop again. Hop, little bunnies, hop, hop, hop. Hop, little bunnies, hop, hop, hop. Hop, little bunnies, hop, hop, hop. Hop, 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 and stop.
So,
Yay!
You're probably wondering,
that was so much fun.
How is the new age Mr. Rogers, Miss Rachel? How is she at all? How does this make her an anti-Semite? Well, that young girl there is a Palestinian. So that's why. What an anti-Semite. She had a Palestinian on her program. No, this is actually, here's other things that she was doing, has been doing.
Please look at her. Please look at her. Just please look at her eyes for 1 minute. If you're not going to stand up for these babies and these children, 15,000 killed, the largest cohort of child amputees in modern history.
Miss Rachel, the beloved children's educator and YouTube megastar, has doubled down on her advocacy for children in Gaza as the humanitarian crisis worsens in the besieged Palestinian enclave. Her plea came as the UN warned that 14,000 babies could die within days if Israel's humanitarian aid blockade on the besieged enclave isn't lifted. Earlier in May, Miss Rachel also met with Rahaf, a 3-year-old girl from Gaza. who lost both legs in an Israeli airstrike and was medically evacuated to the U.S. in 2024. Like many children in Gaza, Rahaf grew up watching Miss Rachel's videos, a rare source of joy and comfort amid Israel's crippling siege and brutal war. Miss Rachel's advocacy for Palestinian children has, however, made her a target of numerous pro-Zionist groups, including Stop Anti-Semitism, which has used the tired and baseless accusation that she was spreading Hamas propaganda and reported her to the U.S. Department of Justice. Despite facing online harassment and political backlash, Miss Rachel continues to raise awareness about the humanitarian toll of Israel's genocidal war on Gaza, which has directly killed over 53,000 Palestinians and left more than 39,000 children orphaned.
And that is why she's an anti-Semite. Let's hear from Cynthia Nixon. She's also on the list. What did she say?
And to me, and what finally is happening to people all over this country and all over the world, but particularly this country, is we can't look away anymore. And I think really Sam reaching out to my wife, Christine, and I very early on and saying, you know, as the grandchild of Holocaust survivors, this is hitting me particularly hard, and I am doing everything I can with the platform that I have, and I urge you to do everything you can. And I think my closest friend is also, her mother was in Auschwitz, and she feels so much the same way. I think that, you know, so many of the lines in Seth's articles and speeches stay in my head. And, you know, for my friend Josine too, you know, never again means never again for anyone. And I think if, at least not for everyone, but I think for people like Seth and for people like my friend, being the descendant of a Holocaust survivor and recognizing the signs, even though this time it is not directed against Jews, I think just makes it is re-traumatizing, but it's also, it's like, I recognize it. I recognize this when I see it, and I must do everything in my power, because we look back at things like the Holocaust or the Rwandan genocide or so many things in history, and we say, how could so many people have died and allowed this to happen? And I think, you know, in Sam speaking, I call Seth Sam, but I use both. But speaking to me, one of the things he said was, I have to do everything I can do because I don't want history to move on and people who are looking back at this moment to be able to say that there were not Jews who did everything they could, and including putting their bodies on the line. Yeah. So I think what he's doing and what his comrades and friends are doing in Chicago.
Look at that anti-Semite. And she's even being interviewed by another anti-Semite who I'm surprised is not on the list. Let's play one more clip. This is Guy Christensen. He's been, I think, pretty big on TikTok, young guy, and he's also an anti-Semite.
Today, an AIPAC millionaire and elected official, Richie Torres, announced, "There is no genocide in South Africa. There is no genocide in Gaza. Stop debasing the term genocide by using it as ideological warfare." Now, Richie, screenshots are forever, and what you've said and done will haunt your family for eternity, as you will eventually, if you're still alive, end up in a Nuremberg trials.
So he wears the keffiyeh quite a bit and does a lot of videos about Palestine and Israel. And he is also on the list for Anti-Semite of the Year. So I want to give a big congratulations to all of the Anti-Semites of the Year this year. Who is it going to be? You can go to the site and you can vote for who you think should be Anti-Semite of the Year. Let me just show you what that voting looks like. You go to this top part here. It says 2025 Anti-Semite of the Year voting. And here you can put your name down, your email account, and you can select three of the choices. And if I were doing the voting today, who would I go for? I'd say Tucker Carlson, Miss Rachel for sure. Tucker, Miss Rachel, and for good measure, let's just throw in some Cenk Uygur on there as an Anti-Semite of the Year. Who's it going to be this year? I'm pretty sure I'm going to put my money on Tucker Carlson. I think Tucker Carlson will be named the Anti-Semite of the Year. That would be my guess. Congratulations to them all. Really, truly, mazel tov. Thank you for watching this clip from the full Kim Iverson show, which you can catch Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern at KimIversonShow.com. It is free for you to watch. Again, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, KimIversonShow.com. See you there.